We have already gone through this, but I'm going to walk you through what you're going to see on this mid-chapter test. It's really only a 9 or 10 question test. I may put a couple of extra questions on there just for fun. Easy stuff, just a couple of definitions. But let's go ahead and get started. I want to start with what the first question is going to look like. And the first question is going to be, which point would be collinear with C and D? Okay, so we look at C and D, and you have to know what the definition of collinear, right? Collinear. So two L's, I-N-E-R-A-R. There we go. Collinear. And all that means is on the same line. Well, it took a long time for something that you probably already know, but what other point is on the same line with C and D? That would be letter E, and you'll just write that on the line. Okay, so if you know collinear and you know it means that they exist on the same line, you just got two questions right, because one of the questions I'm going to add at the bottom is, what is the definition of collinear points? And then my other definition I'll bring up later. The next question is, which point, name the point of intersection of the plane W and the line F and G. Okay, so the line here, and where does that line intersect with this whole plane here? And that would be point D, right? So there are the first two answers. I didn't write that down because I figured you could see it, you'll be able to visualize it. And now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next couple of questions, which are dreadfully simple. It says, what is the length of this line segment? We'll say line segment CD. Okay, so we have a line segment CD and we have a ruler underneath it. We see that the ruler is broken into quarters, right? These inches are broken into quarters. So there's 1 3/4. So the length of this is 1 3/4. And I'll probably, I'm almost positive that on the test, especially since I'm looking right at it, it'll say it's in inches. So if you don't put the type of measurement in there, you're going to lose a little bit of credit, because I need you to know that it is 1 3/4 inches. Okay, see that it's broken up. Can you please write it like this? I will also accept 7/4 inches. Okay, I will not accept 1 75/100 inches. So you write that, and Sokol's going to say, no, 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 no. I have to break you guys of the habit. I need you to be writing in fraction form. You have to get used to it. I know it sounds horrible, but that's how it works. The next question is find the measure of BC. If the total length is 8 6/10 centimeters and A to B is 3 3/10 centimeters, all you have to do is subtract this segment from the whole, right? So I'll go ahead and write it. I'll say 8 6/10 centimeters minus 3 3/10 centimeters. And this is super simple. Bring your decimal straight down. 9. You goofball. Sorry about that. 6 minus 3 is 3, and 8 minus 3 is 5. It'll be pretty much that simple. You may have to do some regrouping, but I think you guys, no, you won't. I'm just looking at the test. You don't. And please remember to put the units in there, okay? We want to talk about what the measurement type is. Okay, let me hide this. I think it's this layer. Yeah, it's this layer. And I think, I'm trying to look to see if the question is up there. Yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. I want to be writing on this layer, so let's put this in here. And what I wasn't able to do, which I'm going to put in now, Ray BC, they have it listed as Ray BC, is an angle bisector of angle ABD, right? And they don't have angle there. They have the word angle. They have that symbol. And then they have the symbol and they have the symbol. So it says Ray BC is an angle bisector of angle ABD, and the measure of ABC is 4x plus 3. Find the measure of angle CBD. Now, really and truly, this is, I want you to think of this as super simple. All you have to do is take the information that you've been given. Angle BC, this is a bisector. All right, it's a bisector. What it means is that this side, this angle, and this angle are exactly the same. And I'm sorry it's not drawn to scale. I did the best I could with what I had. And so they give you the next piece of information. They say, hey, this angle ABC is 4x plus 3. And then they ask, hey, find the measure of CBD. And there are a couple ways that you can do this. They don't give you the total measure of this angle. So you're just going to write an expression. Well, if they're both the same, then all you have to do is answer, well, if they're both the same, then this is also 4x plus 3. And that's your answer. Now, if by chance they wanted to ask you, hey, what's the measure of the whole? And I think I'm going to have some questions like that. Say, well, find the measure of ABD. Well, if we want to find the whole and we've been given the measure of a half, then just add this and this together, right? 4x plus 3 plus another 4x plus 3. And then we put our x's together, right? Let me use a different color. We put our x's together, and 4x plus 4x is 8x. And we'll add to that. Let's see, we'll put our 3's together, and 3 plus 3 is 6. So you could, I think I'm going to go in that direction for one part of the test. You know, you're not going to have the same test. Maybe one test will have just repeat that, and the other test will say, hey, double it. Okay, so now you have both methods of solving. So ABD is equal to 8x plus 6, and CBD is just that 4x plus 3. So really it's an exercise in reading the question, okay? And I think you can handle it. Last but certainly not least, let's bring this up. All right. Dudes, this is what you hate the most. Find the distance between D and E. Find the distance. Distance between D and E. Okay, well, I just roughed this out. I have not checked my work to make sure that it's a nice round number. It could be some sort of square root. It's entirely possible to have something inside a square root that you can't simplify. So here's what I'm going to do. What I want to do first is find their coordinates, right? Find the coordinates of D. So we've gone back to -2 and down 1, -1. This one is over 2 in the positive direction and up 3, right? And so if we take our distance formula, which is the distance equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so we'll call D1 coordinate pair 1, and we'll call E coordinate pair 2. Great. Now what we're going to do is just plug everything in and start to do some math. So here we go. X2, which is 2. Repeat that square root symbol. X2 is 2, right? The x coordinate in the second pair is 2 minus the x coordinate in the first pair, which is -2. Square it plus the y coordinate minus the y coordinate in the first, -1. And I did this for a reason. Yeah, I didn't put that in there. Okay, I did this for a reason. Subtracting a negative, you may have to subtract a negative. And subtracting a negative, we remember, is like adding a positive, right? So keep, change, and keep, change. There are other ways to talk about it, but I'll remind you in class. So 4, 2 plus 2 is 4, or 2 minus negative 2 is 4 squared plus 3 minus negative 1, or 3 plus 1 is 4 squared. Cool. And this is not a perfect square, right? So 4 squared is 16 plus 16 again, which is root 32. We know that 16 is a perfect square. If you want to leave it as root 32, you're really halfway there. You're not really all the way there. But if you can factor out the 16, because that's root 16, which is a perfect square, times root 2. And then you can figure out that this is actually 4 square roots of 2. You should know how to do this. If you don't know how to do this, I will accept square root of 32 if that ends up being the case, something of the sort. Should be pretty easy. But that's the question, right? Now, if I talk about the next part, the next part is find the coordinates of the midpoint. Let me change colors, and then I'll write underneath here, find the coordinates of the midpoint between D and E. Between D and E. Okay? I don't know where I just went. What happened? I just lost my sketchbook. There we go. Sorry about that. Help. These are all supposed to be gone. There we go. Sorry about that glitch. That was fun, wasn't it? Now I have to report something. Now. Anyway, let's get back to it. Sorry about that. I don't think I'll edit it out. I think you'll have to just suffer through it because I'm so close to being finished. Finish being, how do we find the coordinates of a midpoint? Well, the formula is this. We say x2, x1 plus x2 and divided by 2, and then I'll change colors just for fun. Y1 plus y2 and divide that by 2, right? Because we're finding the average of those coordinates. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these in. X1 is negative 2. Oh, let me go back to that color. X1 is negative 2. And then we're going to add to it x2, which is 2. Not 3. Wow. I'm looking ahead. Divide that by 2. Look at how easy that's going to be. And then go ahead and go here. And y1 is negative 1 plus y2, which is 3. There's my 3. And divide that by 2. Okay? And now we're going to see that when we do this math, we're going to have the midpoint. So negative 2 plus positive 2 is 0. Divided by 2 is still 0. I'm going to leave it in this color. Negative 1 plus positive 3 is 2 over 2. And when you do that division, you get 1. So this is your midpoint. It's as easy as that. And that's really all there is on the test. The last thing I think I'm going to have you do is another definition. Maybe, or maybe I'll, yeah. So the first definition I already explained was collinear. And then the second definition, I'm going to say these are defs. And then the second definition would be angle bisector. And I want to make it specific because we were talking about angles. Right, and you're going to tell me, we said that collinear means on the same line. And last but certainly not least, angle bisector is a ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. Okay, and what's important, I need you to use the word congruent, or I'd like you to use the word congruent, and it divides it in two. Those are the two things. A ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. That explains everything nice and succinctly. Okay, so that's it. You've done a great job of listening. I'm sorry about the glitch in the middle. I don't know what happened to my computer, but hey, things happen. Good luck.